Welcome to Pulchra Pabulum, where we learn about beautiful Roman foods and desserts. Today, we will learn about Dulcia Domestica, a house-made dessert made out of dates, nuts, and a wine sauce called passum. Passum is used as a cooking sauce made out of wine, raisins, and honey. We'll get started first with the passum. We first pour in the white wine of choice, followed by raisins, and then add in the honey and turn on the stove to a low heat to avoid boiling. Here I did a cup of wine, a half cup of raisins, and a half tablespoon of honey. Because I wanted all the honey, I took my finger and put the rest of it into the mixture and made sure I stirred well. So you want to continue to stir this and keep it at a low heat. Once the passum liquid is starting to bubble, it is time to lower the heat, cover, and simmer for 5 minutes. Low simmer. Now this has been simmering for about 5 minutes. Let's take a look. Definitely has an aroma to it. After 5 minutes of simmering, it's time to turn the stove off and pour the liquid into a bowl to let it cool. In my case, the raisins did not immediately go out into the bowl, and I thought it would add for extra flavor during the cooling process to let them sit, so I poured them back in. Now it's time to get started on toasting the pine nuts. I used 1/3 cup, and I stirred frequently on a low to medium heat. Now it's time to get started on the dates. I sliced them lengthwise, going down the middle, taking out the pits for each one. It's important to note if you're toasting the pine nuts at the same time to make sure you check in on them as they can burn quickly. Stir them frequently, and when you feel like they're toasted, turn the heat off and add either to a food processor or chop them up yourself. For the nuts, they should be roughly chopped, nothing smaller than the size of a grain of rice, and they will then be added into the middle of the dates, as shown here. It is much easier and significantly less messy to assemble the dates using a spoon and on top of a cutting board or another cooking tray. When all of them are assembled, they should look something like this. And now it's time to get them cooking in the passum. Now that the passum is cooled, it's time to separate the raisins from the wine and honey mixture. Passum in as a cooking oil. Okay. It's time to turn the heat on and individually add each assembled date. I'm going to add dead sea salt and pepper, as it calls for in the recipe, so just a little bit. It is starting to cook a little bit, but I don't want it to boil, so I'm going to lower the heat and continue to move them around. Checking in on them. It's important to frequently check in on the dates and see if the outsides have started to separate. If they are, then it's time to take them off the heat and plate them. This is a lot harder to plate than I thought. It's important to remember that these are dates, and dates are known to be sticky. It's best to plate them one by one or two at a time. For presentation, it's best to use your hands to assist in the placement of the dates. They will get sticky, and wherever you place the date will also be sticky, so try not to move them around too much. This, of course, only matters if you are worried about presentation. Now that it's plated, it's time to taste it, and of course, like Romans do, I brought along someone to share the food with me.
Cheers.
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 I don't know if I feel put the whole thing in there.
Okay.
The nuts really balance it.
You're good.
Appreciate it.
So, I give this 1 Roman thumbs up.
As my middle school Latin teacher would say, Gratias tibi, I give thanks to you. Thank you for watching.